I'm Gabriel Ritchie.
I'm Jeremiah McConan.
Welcome to the Ritchie and Mecco Connection. Our guest today from the Hurt Business, big time Celtics fan, Ferry Sharari.
Welcome, bro.
What's going on, boys? How we doing?
Not great.
Yeah.
Not great. Not great. Got to be honest. Let's talk about it. Elephant in the room. Huge shocker tonight. The Warriors are good at basketball. The front page of the news tomorrow. The Warriors are good at basketball. They can shoot and they can defend, something we all knew. And the Celtics aren't going to be able to take quarters off, which is something they've been famous for the past few years. And then the past few playoff series, just taking quarters off. And Jay, I texted you the other night and I was happily proved wrong. I said, when they went down by 14 in game one, I was like, this is the Warriors, man. This is the legendary Golden State Warriors. That nucleus is still there. I don't care how old they are. You can't just go down by that much against them, especially on the road, and expect to come back. And then the Celtics had an outer body experience and came back. And then tonight, it was the exact opposite. You know, they got down and the Warriors just cut their throats. And that was it. There was no coming back. All of a sudden, a 10-point lead turned into a 13-point lead, and it was a 23-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and the game was over.
Yeah, Celtics are known for those third quarters, right? Every time, like almost every game, like the third quarter is just a takeoff quarter for everybody.
I mean, yeah, the Warriors, honestly, game one and game two, they won the third quarter both times, except in game one, Jaylen Brown just decided to have an outer body experience to start that fourth quarter.
Two commanding wins in the third, like not just like, oh, Warriors beat them 20-14 in the
it was like 2016 third
destruction.
Quarter. And Otto Porter Jr.'s hitting threes and Gary Payton Jr.'s all over the place. He's not even a real player, bro. But I still feel good as a Celtics fan though, because like our ability on offense to take them off the dribble, but still, do the ball movement and kind of like the motion offense, not as good as the Warriors, but, as good as most teams. But then we can just use our size and literally just go one-on-one and get a bucket. That makes me feel good, but I don't know, man. It's still the Warriors, like you said. So
that's a dangerous group.
It's a dangerous group. And, like Jordan Poole, he got hot tonight.
Bro, when he hit
Clay the next night,
when he hit that 80-footer.
That was insane. Yeah. It was literally a half-court shot.
Yeah, it was over after that.
Just pulled up clean, wet. Like, what the fuck's going on? Can anything go worse for us?
Yeah. But I still feel good, though. I feel good.
19 turnovers. The Golden State's 12. So it's not like there's a huge discrepancy there. We both shot around the same 3-point percentage. Golden State was a little better from overall field goals, and then we had more rebounds by one. Jay, you made a good point in the first half. You're like, Clay's missing. Them Warriors were missing a ton of open shots, and they were still up by 2. And I countered that with, but the Celtics aren't playing great either. But then the Celtics never turned it on. They were kind of like on cruise control the whole time. And I feel like part of that really had to do with, and I'm trying to find that right now, like the total number of fouls each player had. I'm not sure where I could find that in the box score, but
I told you this game, the refs to start that game, and even into the second half, man, it was real pro Golden State. Tatum and Brown both had 2 fouls in the first quarter. Are you kidding me?
Ticky-tack fouls where it's like, come on, man.
And one on Jaylen Brown with Gary Payton when he went up for the layup where he tried to dunk it. Like Jaylen Brown literally did not touch him, bro. They showed the replay and he literally didn't touch him and still called a foul.
And it's the same. It's the same thing we always say, man. It's like, all right, we're gonna give Tatum 2 quick fouls in the first quarter, and then we're gonna tack on ticky-tack fouls as the game goes on, so that by the time it gets to a certain point, he's on the bench and they have no shot. However, it ultimately didn't matter. I'm not gonna blame the refs when the Celtics put up a performance like that. But part of the reason that third quarter was so ugly is like you had guys like Smart and Brown, and then Rob, which is just injury related, on the bench. And when you have Daniel Tice out there instead of Rob Williams, Tice, I love the guy. He's not a guy that, and I'd love it if he drops 25. I always say this. Just like when we dissed Pritchard one episode and we were like, we hope he balls out the next game. But yeah, I'd love to see Tice prove me wrong or something, but I just don't think he's a guy who deserves those type. He shouldn't. It's a problem when that's a guy getting a lot of minutes in the NBA finals for your team. You should
Yeah.
expect to lose by 20 to a team with 3 future Hall of Famers on it, possibly 4, even though Iguodala was hurt tonight.
Hmm.
But what do you expect going back to Boston as the Celtics are 6-0 coming off of a loss?
Yeah, man, I'm confident, bro. I know in front of the good fans at TD, the role guys always play better. The stars hopefully will play better. Jason looked good tonight, although we lost. He hit some shots, which we can't say the same for in game 1.
Hmm.
JB looked great in game 1, not as good in game 2, but coming home, I can't help but feel that they all got some extra confidence in them. The crowd's gonna be crazy. I'm mainly curious on how much a floor seat ticket is.
Okay.
Not that I'm
For a
gonna go, of
loss.
course. I'm just curious, like how ridiculous it is gonna be. I seen today on one of the
Like
majors.
10? No, maybe even more than 10,
More,
right?
bro, more, way more. I seen on one of the
50?
major social media platforms, they posted the courtside tickets for the Golden State game today was 70 bands.
Yeah, it's
Crazy.
I'd be
crazy.
looking at, and somebody on Twitter said like they should do like little info pieces on the people who sit courtside at these games. Like, what do
Yeah,
they do for a
man.
living? How did they
I
get
always
there?
think that, Gabe. I
Like, what?
always think that.
Right? Because it's like you're like,
Like,
oh,
how do you
look at this
guys know
normal
each
looking
other?
white guy, or look at this normal looking dude, or this kid, or look at this family. It's like, no,
Right.
those are millionaires. They have to
Right.
be sitting in those seats. Unless you're
Yeah.
Alex Masonette. Remember that dude in high school would just he would just be sitting courtside randomly.
right next to Wick every game.
Man.
Yo, but now the Warriors are especially because like when you look at the Staples Center and the Garden, it's like, okay, I recognize these people as the celebrities, rappers in Atlanta and shit like that. You go look at a Warriors game, it's like, man, who are these
Silicon
people?
Valley.
And you know they're all right, billionaires and
Yeah.
probably the most powerful people in the world.
Yeah,
But
Bill Gates's nephew.
right. Bezos' ex.
On the topic of tickets, Jay, I told you this. I might as well say this on the pod. I was gonna say it last time,
Oh,
but I have a tragic story to tell everybody
Uh-oh.
real quick, and I'll tell you too. So I do PR, and there was a client doing an event outside the Garden, Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals, and the event took place from 6 to 7:30, right before the game was going to start. And I was kind of bummed I had to work that late on a Friday or anything, like in addition to the rest of the week. But on the bright side, I was like, all right, let me download these ticket apps and see if I can score a ticket to the game. I'll go alone. I hit up people, see if they want to come with me. Obviously last minute, and nobody wants to pay that type of money to go to a game. There's not as many people who would like drop that much money, bread,
Right.
right. Like me, like a psycho. Like, it's irresponsible. So I don't blame anybody. I was like, I'll just go along. So I'm checking the prices. They slightly go down. They're like still like for the last row, it's still like $330 to go watch the Celtics. It would have been a loss.
Who was in the city?
What do you mean?
Who were they playing?
Miami. This was
okay.
Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay.
Yeah.
Recent.
Yeah. So this was like recent. Yeah. And then tickets. I hear a scalper. And I'm like on the job. I'm like, you already see where this is going. I'm like on the job because you didn't see me post anything about being at that game. I see a scalper and I'm like, well, I'm working. I like step. He's like, I'm like, you're selling tickets? He's like, yeah. What are you looking to pay? I'm like,
oh no.
And I have no experience buying from scalpers. Literally none. Never bought from a scalper. I'm not ready to haggle or anything. And I'm like, I just show him my phone. I'm like, well, these say they're this price. He's like, I got Lowe's for 300. I was like, 300. Well, this is like, it's like what I mentioned earlier, the last row was like 330, but that was with taxes. It's like 270. So I
Right.
just show him that, like doing my best to like bring the price. He's like, yeah, but that's balcony. I got lows for you. I'm
Oh, not the
like
Loge.
300. Oh, do I really want to? And I'm like, I could be back in 10 minutes. I'm gonna go get cat. I'm like, how do I pay you? He's like, cash, of course, right?
Oh,
So
Ah.
I go take money out. I come back. He's not there anymore.
Oh no.
Now there's a different shady dude in that area.
What?
And he's like, tickets. And he looks at me, and I know I'm walking around there, and I
Yeah.
must look like the easiest mark ever just by myself. Like, yeah, I got, you want my money? Don't
Oh
worry, I'm not gonna
no.
check you. I just want to get into the building. Anyways, he's
So
like,
the first guy vanished at
the
this
first guy
point.
vanished.
that should have been
Okay.
your sign.
And the
At that
second,
moment, you should have knew.
and the
Game
second
over.
guy was like, basically same seats, but for 400. And I was like, well, the other guy was gonna do 300. He was like, man, 300. Blah, 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 blah. He was like, fine, here. And he gave me the ticket. I was like, how much? And he was like, 300. I was like, all right. He was like, all right, have a good one. Like at the end of a drug transaction where it's just like, all right, get
Let
the
me know
fuck out of
how.
here. Um,
Oh, these fucking
and as soon as I'm
scalpers,
walking
man.
away with this ticket, I get a really bad feeling.
Oh,
And I go get pizza, and I'm looking at the ticket, and I'm texting everybody. I just bought a ticket from a scalper. I really hope it's not fake.
yeah.
And I go across the street, I walk into the building, go through security clearance, and I'm like, I've had plenty of moments because I get anxious and I'd be thinking worst case scenario with a lot of stuff
Right.
just
Yeah.
to be prepared for whatever and whatnot.
Mhm.
But normally it pulls through. So in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is probably fake. But then another half of me is like, things normally work out in these situations. It's probably, maybe it's not fake.
Yeah.
And it was in fact fake. And I had to be like, oh, and I just like turned around and just like walked back through the security entrance, walked straight into North Station, got on my train, came home, and it was like 7 minutes to go in the first quarter by the time I got home.
Wow.
Just a
Damn.
tragedy. $300 out the window.
Yeah, that breaks my heart hearing that
So
story.
be
for you,
careful out
man.
there, fellas and ladies.
No scalpers.
Jesus, what an absolute piece of scum that scalper was, huh, Gabe?
Yeah,
Hey, man.
my hope is karma.
Bro.
Yeah,
Exactly.
just all I
Amen.
gotta say is karma.
Amen.
Mhm.
Here's a
Um,
question: if you just so happen to be walking down the street one day and see him,
Oh,
So that's
the
the thing. I left the building,
quick Devin
and part of me
Haney.
was like, do I go after this guy? And then the other part of me was like, he's definitely like out of here.
mm,
Yeah. They must have known each other, the
You
two
think so?
scalpers.
But
Or
I don't know.
mean, I'm
Either
not for
way,
sure certain, but the fact that one disappeared and the other one, like I don't know.
either way, 300. It's $300 either way. One of them
they're doing
is.
shifts.
Yeah.
It's not
yeah.
like the other guy got to raise the price or anything. But yeah,
They go to a van and split
it
it
sucked, and then they
somewhere.
lost in the most tragic way.
Oh yeah, and that
Mm.
was the meltdown too.
Which is where
Mm.
we can get back. We can get back to the actual basketball at hand.
Yeah.
They had that tragic loss against Miami, and then came back and pulled out a game.
Right.
And with another game where they almost had the most devastating defeat in playoff history, in my opinion. What would have been one of them at least,
100%.
if they had lost that game 7 in that
Mm.
fashion. And they had a tragic loss, tragic meltdown against Milwaukee and bounced back from that. So
Mhm.
like this tonight, I'm just not phased really at all.
Mm.
Especially, and this is sort of a page of Russillo's book, Jay, where it's just like, if someone tells you that they know where a series is going based off of the result of the game they just saw, they're lying to you.
Mhm.
It's like, don't tell me the Warriors lost by 50 to the Grizzlies after we thought that series was over and then came back and beat them. This just doesn't faze me. The Celtics basically, it got out of hand. Their heart and souls were on the bench. A lot of their guys didn't have a great night. And then once it got to 23, it was like the reserves were in. So that's my take on the game. I don't know if you guys have anything differently to say.
Here comes Neesmith.
Oh, we don't want that. I mean, I was gonna ask you guys, like, who do you think has to be better for their team in order for, like, for that team to win the finals? Is Curry for the Warriors or Tatum for the Celtics? Because I'm
It's a good
like
question.
Tatum, because Tatum he had a rough shooting game one, but he was so effective in like so many other parts of the game. And then Curry with the shooting, it's like, that force alone could just take over games, quarters, like nothing. So I don't know, like who do you think has to be better for their team? I guess you could start. You can answer that, Gabe, or Ugi, you can answer first. But I
You
want
want to
hear
go
y'all
first though?
thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, my answer would probably be a lot less smart than Gage, but I just think
Oh.
it's probably JT. I think he does so much more out there than Curry. Curry
Mm.
gets who has looked good defensively tonight. Am I right? Am I wrong? I mean, he
All
kind of
Yes,
playoffs.
absolutely.
yeah,
Underrated
yeah.
defender in general, but that's a great observation. though. He was definitely like, and I was saying
Yeah,
that to you, Jay. Like Pritchard is like has no respect for Curry. Like he was
he's
trying to
going at
shake
him.
Curry, and I'm like, that's not how this works. This
Yeah.
isn't
What
Nah,
are you
this isn't the
doing?
YMCA.
this is
Mm.
easily Curry's best defensive year. Like he's really taking it serious.
Yeah, so that's my thing. I think Curry has looked good defensively, but I think they expect Tatum to be elite on both sides, and they don't really expect that from Curry. They just, as you said, Jay, he can take over games with his offense and not that shooting.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think JT's my answer, man.
I have to disagree
Why?
Mm.
because we saw JT have a terrible game in game one, at least in terms of scoring and some other stuff going on. Of course, he racked up a ton of assists, like a record amount of assists, but Curry, everything runs through him even when it doesn't. Like the off-ball stuff, the way they have to worry about him. The leadership with him. It's really split between him and Draymond, but really it's Curry's team, it's Curry's city. Where Tatum, it's like, yeah, Tatum's the best player, but then you have Brown, who takes a lot of the weight. You have Horford, who's like the real adult in the room, and then you have Smart, who's the emotional leader. Where I feel like the Celtics are more of a unit compared to Golden State. I think it's very close, but I would say Curry, if Curry plays like absolute, it's very neither of them. It's like neither of them are super high usage, like live and die by this one player. I think it
Mhm.
is close, but I would slightly go with Curry being more important. Because if he goes cold,
They are in trouble.
they can be in trouble. Where Tatum, we saw him go cold in game one. We've seen him go cold a few times, and that's when other guys on the team can step up. That being said, real
Yeah.
quick, just some Curry appreciation.
Mhm.
Let's just talk about this guy's back in the finals doing this again. Like, how many did he have in game one? He
The
still had a lot of
34.
points. Yeah, he had 29 tonight, I believe.
He wants that Finals MVP.
Yeah,
He's
and
he's
he's
going
back
for
in
it.
the
You could
finals
tell.
doing it again. There's no point guard who even like can lace his shoes.
Yeah.
Who does it like this now today? Like think
Right.
about like Kyrie, Dame, Russ, whoever
They
you
all
name
had their
it.
little
It's
but
like they're fucking out in round one, not making the
Curry's the
playoffs. And
constant.
like Curry's like, oh, we're fully healthy this year. We're back in the finals.
Yeah,
It's just like so impressive. He's really an all-timer to me.
for
He's
sure.
so great. And it's like he's one of those guys where a Harden and a Westbrook wouldn't allow their teammates to be this great. A lot of stars wouldn't. I don't want to just single out those guys. They wouldn't allow Jordan Poole to just have superstar moments. We saw it with Lynn Sanity. Dudes like Carmelo and Kobe, they shut that shit down real quick when he was their teammate.
Yeah,
They don't want to see that. It's their show where Curry will literally let anybody else take the helm and get his, and that's what makes him great.
probably Gabe. I would say besides Tim Duncan, Curry has to be the most unselfish superstar that probably the last 25
I'd
years.
have to
where it's
agree.
just-
Yeah, it's really probably the holy trinity of NBA teammates is probably Curry, Duncan, and then Bill Russell.
Yeah, I like that.
So Jay, who
Yeah.
do you think means more to their team? You kind of the deal breaker here. It's 1-1 draw.
Yeah, see, I mean, I really asked this question because I was on the fence about it when I was thinking about it. So I wanted to hear what you guys thought. Maybe you could sway me one way or the other. I mean, it's really tough. I might lean
Very close.
slightly towards Tatum just because, like, like they ask a lot. It's basically him and Jaylen Brown that have to initiate the offense because Marcus Smart will have a game like this. But then Curry, like sort of like the ceiling of Curry's impact, I think is way greater than anything that Tatum could do. But
Yeah.
like it's tough though because I just feel as if the Celtics' best chance of offense is gonna have to be Tatum initiating or Jalen when he's hot. But like even Jalen, you don't really want him
Jalen does
starting
such a
off with the
great
ball.
job attacking. He really
He
does. Like
does.
the handle isn't there, but like
Yeah.
he
When
knows
he's in
something.
transition, yeah.
He's better at attacking at least this Warriors team than Tatum is.
Yeah, no, I think Jalen when he goes downhill, he's the best on the team when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But like as far as like when if you're asking for him to like come up with the ball and set up the offense,
Yeah.
that's when I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, it's a little
get
shaky because his
shaked.
handle,
Yeah.
like because he's
Right.
so like I've Jalen, I even tweeted this out the other day. Like if he tightened up that handle with his
Yeah.
mid-range, and then like you was mentioning, Gabe, his just driving and just that tenacity, guy would be perennial all-star. Like it won't be like, oh, is he all-star this year or not this year? Like it's straight all-star. It won't even be
Right.
an argument. But like that's why I kind of might say Tatum right now, but I could definitely see the Curry side of his importance too. But because Tatum, it's gonna look like it's gonna have to be him to really initiate the offense. And then Golden State's just gonna crowd up the lane whenever he does it. That was another thing tonight, man. It felt like we had no space. Like, there was so much time we were in the corner and like Tatum was doing a step back or Pritchard was trying to get around. It was just one-on-one him and Curry and like everyone else on the other side. It's like, I don't know, like the spacing, especially in that third quarter was, it didn't look good to me, but hopefully that's something they could fix.
I'm afraid. I'm a little afraid.
Coming
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
What are
They
you
haven't
scared
been
of?
great at home.
Yeah,
but
that's true. But coming off a loss, they've been great.
they've been great. That's good. But also the Warriors were just better tonight. It was even just like the Celtics didn't play absolutely terrible. Like I just listed off, it was pretty even on a lot of those statistics. Like the Warriors didn't play a perfect game. They had 12 turnovers themselves. It's just like they were tougher on defense. And when Rob's not out
Defense.
there,
Yeah.
if
Gabe.
Rob's not going to be 100%, it's going to be really tough to survive this series, especially if Golden State really comes to play every night, which might not happen because Golden State is hit or miss. They are a weird
Yeah.
team themselves, as we stated last week, and we always state about them. Like they're funky. They get weird. We could decide. I would not be surprised if the Celtics won by 30 in the next game.
Yeah. I mean, that fourth quarter game one was a prime example of them just getting funky. So
Yeah.
what,
Yeah.
2 points. I was gonna say though, Gabe, one thing real quick with the Warriors defense you mentioned. If you're a Celtics fan, that might concern you a little because when
Mhm.
they turned it on in that third quarter and
They were tougher.
and Draymond was just Draymond tonight. It was the
Yep.
full Draymond.
He was
thing.
everywhere.
Can we talk about Draymond for a little? Because he drove
Yeah.
me nuts tonight.
Okay, why?
Drove me nuts. Because, like, I mean, first and foremost, I can't remember the first tech. I'm trying to remember it.
See, I don't remember the
Nobody
first tech
remembers
either.
it. Nobody remembers
He
it.
just he spawns in
just
the game with the
happened.
tech.
Yeah.
Right. He always shows up like with a tech and a half. Like,
Because
just,
I'm like, yo, when
waiting
did he
to
get
get
the
ejected.
first tag?
Yeah, it's like I remember the free throw being shot. I think he was just mouthing off to a ref or something like that, the way he usually does. But the thing that happened with Jaylen Brown, where he tackled him and then laid his feet on his head and then
Mhm.
pushed him. All this, he did this to Jaylen Brown, and then
How did you interpret that, Jay?
See, I'm gonna have to disagree with you a little bit. Oh, I thought
I'm just telling you what happened. I'm not even. I haven't even
I know,
my opinion yet. Go ahead.
No,
bro.
I mean like,
Move on.
all right. So you think Draymond was in the wrong for that?
Yeah, bro. You're about to put your feet on my head. Both of them, too. It's not even like one and we fell awkwardly. Like you intentionally put both of your feet directly on my head and my neck.
Yeah.
Just for what? And then like I sit up and then you massage me and then push me. Come on. Come
But
on.
what did
buddy.
you see, Jay? Because
Did
I
you see-
remember us texting. You saw something a little different.
I mean, so I saw Draymond like they fell or whatever. I guess they were going for a loose ball. They both fell.
Well, no,
Draymond's-
Draymond jumped in front. They
Speaking
called a
of-
foul. It was 3 shots at the line for Jalen.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Okay. So yeah. And then yeah, right. Cause I'm like thinking, was it even really a foul?
But
But
I don't think that was a foul.
yeah, okay. Now I remember how it started. And then yeah, I'm sorry. I remember Draymond having his legs on head. I feel you, Ferris, like when you have feet on your head, like the bottom of a sneaker, like you just
that
want
would
to get
drive
it
me
off.
crazy.
Yeah, so I'm okay with Jalen with the initial like, yo. And then after that, Draymond to me, he was just like, yo, don't do that. Like, I didn't mean to have my feet on you, like chill. And then Jalen kind of got hot. And I'm
He
like,
stood
all
over
right,
him.
which I don't hate. Like, I kind of like Jalen like showing off that like ferocity in that moment, but I was like, come on, Jalen. Like he just, he didn't mean to. Like he just felt like that's just how it happened. But
Do we
I don't.
think
I'm not
you
personally.
where
think
double
Like, I love
technical
it.
should double technicals be assessed in that situation?
No,
No.
like at all.
Is it because
Ever.
you know Draymond already had the technical, or because it's just there's just not enough to warrant a technical?
Well, I think. Well, if you're asking Gabe, like really for the game itself, I like that should never be a technical. But the way
Okay.
they call it now, like, I mean, I guess technically I don't know, man. Even now, it's so they're not even consistent where I can't even say, well, now they can call it a technical based off how they call it, because other times they don't. So yeah, so just no, honestly, like that should never be a double technical. Let them play, and it's the finals.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
man.
I'm with you for the most part. Yeah.
So
In the
I'm-
terms of them calling it how they would
Hmm.
always call it, though, probably is a double technical. He's probably paying for his sins.
Draymond gets ejected, then
If that's LeBron James, is that a double technical and they're getting Draymond out of there?
man, that's an interesting question. What do you think? Oh,
I think it should have been a double technical, no matter who was just getting their foot kicked, and their head kicked around.
yeah, O's firm on this camp. I respect it.
You know, and I appreciate Jalen for standing over Draymond afterwards. Like, you
I
know, you're my
actually like
son.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that.
you're my
I
son.
like that from Jalen. But
But also,
What's up?
it's a little weird because at the same time, that's never something that Jalen's done. He's always been like the super serious guy, and like it's. I
he
mean,
had like
if,
a little moment in the Milwaukee series when Giannis tried to tap him or hug him, and Jalen was like, "Get off of me." But this one
yeah,
was like Jalen was like ready to go if it
ready
had
to
to happen.
scrap, yeah,
Yeah,
which is crazy. We never seen him like that. Regular season game,
that's true.
playoffs in his first 4 years. That's never happened before. And in fighting, whenever they say somebody gets out of character, it's usually the first sign of weakness.
Oh,
So I took it.
I think
I started thinking about that when I seen him do that. I was like, oh,
Draymond got in his head. I mean, Draymond was
yeah.
doing a lot of antics. He got in Tatum's head a little bit in the first
Little
quarter.
Grant's head.
Grant's head. Draymond and Grant, man. Those two guys.
Yeah, I said that was kind of like Draymond looking at his younger self almost.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
At one point, he was at the free throw line screaming at Grant, "You want to beat me? You want to beat me?"
Yeah, I don't hate Draymond, honestly. He's
Uh,
aggravating, but he's not. I don't think he's a dirty player. Like, of course, he's
Yeah,
kicked
he's
guys in the
not.
nuts a couple times, but he's not like. I've never seen him like really like do something that would put a guy's career in jeopardy. It's just he's
You mean like Dwayne
he's
Wade?
nuts. He's just crazy. And I'm pretty in terms of a Celtics fan and whatnot. Like I'm not gonna let myself get too biased into like acting like Draymond is Bruce Bowen or Bernard
Mhm.
Pollard or whoever or TJ Ward or whoever. He's not those
Easy, Gabe,
guys.
easy.
Mm.
Those are some traumatic names there.
Yeah.
Good point. Good
Trigger
point,
warning.
Papa Richie.
Trigger warning, Patriot fans.
But nah, I agree 100% with that.
Or what's his name?
Um,
Ferris, a little boxing reference. Margarito putting the cement in his gloves or whatever he did that time versus
man.
Miguel Cotto.
Yeah,
He's
the
not those guys.
controversy. Yeah, them dirty bastards.
Oh man. But yeah,
Draymond's probably recording his podcast right now.
he is,
too.
right?
Yeah.
He's talking hella shit. Like, I got us in 5.
I mean, real quick, guys, what do y'all think the Celtics could do better? So we know not turning the ball over, of course.
Yeah.
Like, what's some other things you think we could improve on going forward to game 3, game 4 in the beam?
We need to limit the bad fouls, which sometimes is not like silly fouls, which is sometimes not avoidable depending on who's
Yeah.
officiating the game. They gotta just like face this is so stupid. Like I don't like I try to like just talk about narratives and shit. Because when I talk about like what they could do better, it's like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock, and oh
Yeah.
yeah, you think you're fucking Brad Stevens and Ime Udoka. Like I was about to say face guard Curry. Like no shit, don't let Curry shoot. I think that's in the
Yeah.
agenda for the Celtics.
Mhm.
But stuff like that. Don't let Draymond mess with your head. Keep moving the ball. There's a lot. A few times this game and last game, it's I've seen some reverting back to Tatum just backing a guy down and taking a step back, which was our
Mhm.
old pet peeve with him. And then yeah, I wasn't great tonight, and
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
so important to this team. He's not like a superstar, so when he has whatever games, we don't get on him, but we got back into we won that first game because he turned into Superman. So I'm
Mhm.
not gonna act like like that first game wasn't like, oh, we're gonna sweep them. But yeah, just keep moving the ball,
Yeah.
keep
That's a big
moving
one.
because when they get they there's times in the game today, and I think part
Yeah.
of it is them being tired because they've played so much basketball and so much high intensity basketball in the past month. But yeah, you got to keep moving. And yeah,
Yeah.
what about you guys?
What do you
Yeah,
think, O?
I agree with everything you said, man. But I wanted to slide in what Jay said earlier as well about the spacing. I think everybody just got to be on different parts of the floor. You know, we can't think everybody's Superman all the time and cut down these ISOs, keep the ball movement. Turnovers are a big thing. I hate the stupid turnovers, the loose balls.
Yeah.
I hate the complaining to the
19,
refs.
19 turnovers tonight.
Yeah,
It's too
yeah,
much.
way too
Right.
much, man. And then the complaining to the refs is a whole nother thing.
For
Where
sure.
like the transition defense isn't it fucks with it, and some
Yeah.
transition scoring is we're always getting outscored off the turnover. So
Mhm.
there's a lot, man. I think we could do it, bro. Celtics in 6, man.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you guys said. I think the turnovers is the biggest thing. I think even with how we defend Curry, like game one, that first quarter was like,
Drop
here, Curry,
coverage.
just here's 10 feet of space. Go
Yeah.
ahead and shoot. Like he's not the greatest shooter of all time.
Yeah.
And then a couple of times tonight, you saw Tice just back. It's like, no, Tice, you got to be on this.
Yeah, he drove me crazy tonight.
Yeah, it was a rough Tice outing. But the turnovers, and I think like even because honestly, the Warriors feel like they're most deadly and they get the most points against us when they're in transition. But like when we have them in half court and when we're set,
Mhm.
I feel like that's when we can get physical and like rough them up a little bit because we have the size on them. So cutting the
On offense or
turnovers and then
defense?
us being on defense, like when we're set versus
Uh-huh.
like us in transition when
Mhm.
Curry and they're all just
Yeah.
running around and Draymond's
For
in
sure.
his point guard mode. Like I think when we if we cut down turnovers, that's going to lead to having more half court defenses. Where I
I'd
think
say
we
the
have
same
the
about them
advantage.
though. Like
Yeah.
tonight, they had us in the half court and nothing. Jay, I was texting you like when it was kind of we still had a chance to come back. It was like a 10, 12 point game. Like
Yeah.
nothing is coming easy. They need something to come easy right now. They
They
need
clamped
somebody to
up.
get pop out and be open for three and knock it down because
Yeah.
they are just exhausted trying to back them down into the paint.
Right.
And just missing. Everything's rolling out, and that means you're tired and the defense is totally affecting you.
Yeah. And it's tough when like game one, you have Al, Derek White go
Art.
for 20 points. Smart had 20 points, 19 points, whatever it was. Tonight, Smart had 2 points. What did Al finish with 2 points? Like also. And
That's
then
brutal.
yeah. So yeah, man, it's tough, but I think we have the advantage when shit's not going haywire. Thing is, like, we got to be disciplined and not be on that goofy shit.
And obviously the third quarter. You cannot you have to show up from the opening
Mhm.
from the 12-minute mark of the third quarter. You
Yeah.
can't fall behind. You can't let them get loose. There can't be any mental lapses. That has to be the most important quarter to you is the third
Facts.
quarter.
100%.
Amen. In Celtics, we trust.
And
Yes.
Ime, yeah. I
Even
trust
Ime
Ime
got
to do the
trust.
right thing.
Also, Ime Tech. Y'all see that tonight? When was is this his first
Yeah.
of of the
I
season?
peeped. I honestly, I've
He
never
gets
seen him
loud.
get a.
He's not annoying like Doc Rivers.
You don't
Right.
force it, no.
Yeah, he doesn't force it, but he'll speak up.
Yeah,
And I
but
knew the Celtics were in trouble when I saw Zach Zarba
Tony
that
fucking
guy,
brothers,
man.
man.
and brothers, of course. Yeah.
The Terror Crew.
Yeah. I'd rather have Scott Foster.
Honestly, Chris Paul feels different.
Right. But I mean, yeah. Anything else on the Celtics?
Honestly, I think we covered it all. We only got 2 games, so not too much to go off of. But
Right,
Yeah,
right.
True. We played away the first 2 games, so it was just nice to get one.
yeah,
Coming back to the crib.
right. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
honestly like we should feel good about that. Even
I do
taking
I
out Golden
I
State.
feel pretty good. I would have rathered them not lose by that much,
Mm.
but
Yeah,
I feel
I
I feel
agree.
good because I feel like they lost. I feel a lot of that had to do with who was out there
Mm,
and Rob and Smart and just like the guys that you need to show up, who show up 9 times out of 10 didn't tonight in terms of
yeah.
just being out there. Like the fouls racked up and guys who needed to be out there weren't. And I don't want to run Jalen into the ground, by the way, because that guy's been doing a lot.
He won game
so-
1 for us.
Right. So I didn't mind the starters. Just I didn't mind punting in this game. You know, sometimes you just have to do that.
Yeah,
I know it's the NBA Finals. I know they came back the night before. Warriors aren't going to let you come back 2 times in a row.
Mhm.
So yeah. Also, in regards, because game 1 was such a nice story. If you guys want me or Jay or whoever, depending on the night, depending on how busy we are, if you like, we could do quick Instagram lives, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just to give our initial thoughts, because we
Post-game.
record this podcast once a week. Our game 1 thoughts that we may have had as it happened have disappeared. I
Kinda.
probably would have just came on here and praised Al Horford for 20 minutes, which I still love him. But
Derek White podcast.
yeah, the Derek White podcast. Yeah, that's a new podcast coming to the Connection Media. It's just Jeremiah talking about Derek White, his
Yeah,
kids.
his family.
But yeah,
out-
yeah.
outside the court.
Let us know if you want us to do more of that. Otherwise, me and Jay will just stick to texting each other, giggling and
Profane
talking about
comments.
Horford and Tatum like they're like schoolgirls. But we have a boxing expert with us today.
Mm,
There was a big time boxing match last night. Devin Haney defeated George Kambosos. That's how you say it, right?
Yeah, George
Kambosos.
Kambosos.
In his home country of Australia. And as a casual fan, the fight was pretty fucking boring to me. It was, man. It was boring.
Yeah, that's fine, man.
But
it was one of the
I respected it too. I respected the fact that in the announcers, at first I was like, man, they're guffing Haney. Like, it would not stop talking about Haney and this, like, who is it? Tim Bradley?
Tim Bradley. Yep.
It wouldn't shut up about it.
Yeah.
Even though, like, of course he was winning and everything. And I was pro Haney. I was like, let me just root for my countrymen. But then it was just, yeah, it was too much. But it was obvious that Haney was controlling the fight
Mm.
with the jab, and Kambosos had no backup plan. It's just crazy that the title is flip flopped this much. What are your pass down some wisdom? It's your turn to sound smart.
Yeah, man. These titles have been flip flopping everywhere. But before I get into it, I just want to say first and foremost, I'm not a boxing expert. I hope one day I will be. But today I'm just a massive fan of it. But yeah, bro, these belts been flopping and flipping around the 135 division like crazy. And I know you remember when Lomachenko was the king of the division. He had 4 belts of the 5. And of course, he lost to Teofimo, who then lost to Kambosos. And now Kambosos loses to the great young Dev Haney. Jay, did you watch the fight at all?
I missed it, man. I was out of state, and I was upset because I kind of was becoming a fan of Haney. I was trying to catch it, but yeah, unfortunately not.
I mean, Gabe, what do you think? You just thought it was a boring fight. Did you hear like the storyline leading up to it, all the drama that was surrounding these two?
With I know Haney's dad, like I heard it was heavily like Haney was at a heavily disadvantage. What with his dad like didn't get wasn't able to get in, his dad, who's his trainer, right? Wasn't
Yeah.
able to get into the country until like the day before the fight. So
Oh,
that fucked
wow.
them up. And then there was a bunch of just like pay stuff. The pay stuff was
Yeah.
bullshit, and Kambosos took complete advantage. And then
Hmm.
Kambosos gets an automatic rematch. Which he totally did. This is the one time I'll say this, or one of the one times I'll say this. Normally it's like, okay, the champ totally deserves it. In your first title events, you just got fucking owned. It was just like this guy has no chance. Like I feel like these two could box 100 times and Haney would win 100 times,
Yeah.
which is not.
Yeah.
I can't say that about a lot of boxing matches.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with you, bro. Because of the 12 rounds, I don't think I would give George Kambosos more than 3, and that's like
Oh,
being
all right, yeah.
generous.
I was gonna say I was thinking round 2 I would have went with Kambosos, and then the
Yeah,
others were like up in the air for me.
yeah, they were really close. I think maybe round 10, if my memory serves me correctly, was a good
Maybe.
round for Kambosos. He was landing shots on Devin, and for a moment, I was like, "Oh, is Devin gonna get caught with one of these Greek bombs that Kambosos throws?" But David, man, he's a magician, bro. The way he's able to move around the ring and be defensively minded, but at the same time land the jab is insane, bro. But as you guys know, the co-host of my podcast, Josh, is a massive Devin Haney fan.
Yes,
Yeah.
Like this is
yes.
one of his favorite boxers ever. So at first he introduced me to him, and at first, because it was Josh's favorite fighter, I was like, I'm not gonna show this guy so much love because Josh is already doing it, right?
Right, the
Yeah.
pillow punches, right?
Exactly, the pillow punches. One fight he got hurt, and I gave Josh an earful for days about it. But like as I've grown and I've watched Dev Haney grow and hearing this fight and all the shit that he had to overcome, it's crazy, bro. It made me into a fan. Of course, he is a member of Islam as well. So, I got to support my people. And yeah, bro, the whole storyline about his pops not being there was crazy. Because, like you said, Gabe, his pops was his head trainer. He's been his head trainer his whole life. Um, so
Where's his
eh,
pops from?
he's from here. They're just African Americans from Oakland.
He just couldn't go to the fight.
Yeah, so
Wasn't it some law? It was like he broke a law there once or something. I don't know.
yeah, so Australia is super strict with tourists and people traveling in and out. And apparently, yeah, he committed a crime back in the 1990, he said it was 30 years ago. And he did his time. Like it's a closed case, whatever. It's been a couple decades since, but nah, man, they declined him clearance to enter the country because of that. And then Devin gets there 2 weeks before the fight, and there's still ongoing pressure in Australia to get him in there. And literally 12 hours before the fight, he gets like a 10-hour clearance to get in the country for the fight and out right after. And Dev performed great, man. Great night for boxing fans.
Good for him.
Yeah.
A boring fight, Gabe, huh?
Casual. It was just over.
Yeah.
You know, come on. It's like, give me a blowout in basketball. That's no fun. Any blowout. It was a blowout, Jay.
Yeah.
It was a blowout. You know, it was
Yeah.
Kambosos. Let's say Kambosos was down by 30 at the half, and just by the time we got to like the 8th round, I was like, you need a knockout territory, and you're not going to get one because this guy's a defensive fighter.
Mm.
Is it true he's like similar to Floyd in his styles?
Mm.
Because I know Floyd's fights were always boring because like they're never hitting
Right.
him, but he's getting his little jabs in.
Right.
Yeah, he really is, man. Dev's like a direct influence of Floyd, the defensive minded, the counter strikes, the jab. He could be. Josh tweeted something. I keep referencing my guy, but he tweeted
It's okay.
something like
Show him some love.
my
Shout out.
guy, shout out Josh. But yeah, he tweeted like Dev Haney is the Floyd Mayweather of our generation, which
Do you
is
think
a bit
so?
it's a bit premature. It's a bit premature, I would say. 'cause
What's
the
up
guy-
with so how is there a Gervonta Haney fight in the future?
Maybe one day, man. They're in the same range of weight classes. I don't know if it'll be a fight that happens tomorrow or next year.
I was
'Cause
gonna
it's
ask. All right, here's my question.
crazy.
Here's a better question. In the next 2 years,
Hmm.
do we get Haney, Ryan Garcia, Gervonta? Do any of those 3 guys fight each other? In the
Yeah, I
next 2
think
years?
so. I think so for
And
sure.
who would it be?
I
You
think
have one.
so. I know Ryan's fighting in July against somebody not many people know, Javier Fortuna. It's like a tuna fight. It's
Out
not
of
nothing special.
out of Braintree, right?
I believe so.
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Wow.
remember watching a
My
14.
fault,
You
Papa
impressed?
Richie.
Yeah.
My fault, Papa Richie.
He was on the undercard with I think he was on the undercard in I may be wrong. The undercard for I'm probably wrong actually, but I know he was on the undercard. I was gonna say he was on the undercard along with a Badu Jack fight where Badu
Mm.
Jack got bloodied and lost to
Oh,
that
interesting.
dirty
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
dirty dirtbag. I don't remember his name, but he ended up losing the title. And then that
Marcus
was the
Brown.
undercard for the Pacquiao
Mm.
Broner fight, which was forever ago, obviously, because Pacquiao's
Yeah.
retired by now. But Fortuna fought in one of the worst boxing matches I've ever seen. It was so sloppy. It was a constant clinch fest. But yeah, I know he's from it stuck with me. He's from
Yeah, well,
Braintree.
you
Or
make
he
you,
works out of
sense.
Braintree.
yeah, he trains in Braintree. Dominican dude. It's great, great memory you got there, pal. Because I definitely didn't remember that night.
Yeah.
I remember the Bronner Pacquiao fight, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's it for that night. But yeah, so you made him sound really exciting, and that's the guy who Ryan Garcia is fighting next. But to answer
He's
your
gonna clap him.
he's gonna clap him. Yeah, well, that's
This
what
is
we're
like-
all expecting.
Why are they fighting then?
So that Ryan Garcia
It's
can
the
add
name
to
of the
his highlight
game,
reel.
Jay. Yeah, exactly. Just add names to the resume. This Fortuna guy, I think he lost to Devin Haney, if I'm not mistaken. He lost to one of the big lightweights. So it's one of those things where he beat that guy, but he beat him better. So that kind of puts him a little bit higher in
I
terms
see.
of conversation. But I think Tank versus Ryan Garcia, they've been going back and forth a lot lately. So that fight seems to be on the horizon.
And who would you
Maybe-
take in that fight?
I think Tank, man. I think Tank. It's puncher versus puncher, but I think
Time
Tank,
Lions' favorite fighter.
Who's been tested more? Who's had more?
Mm,
Who's had
good
tougher
question.
fights?
Tank for sure.
I'd probably agree. I'd
For
probably
sure,
agree.
Tank. Yeah. Because I can't remember. I mean, Ryan, of course, he had the Luke Campbell fight where he got dropped, came back, and then still
Right.
won by
That's
KO.
actually a pretty big fight.
Yeah, yeah. And Campbell's like an Olympian, like
Yeah.
a gold medalist for his
I've
country.
seen a
comes
few of
from-
his matches. And
comes
then
from like a family of boxing. So that's a big win.
Gervonta recently fought the Rolly.
Romero.
And what were your thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, that was one of those fights where we all kind of knew it was
What
gonna
a
happen.
goofball. Yeah.
Yeah. We heard the all the media in the week, all the hype up, all the banter back and forth, and it was personal between the guys. So somebody's head was getting knocked off, and after the first few rounds, you knew it wasn't Tank's. You knew
Right.
Tank
Yeah.
is different, man.
Tank is different, and that's why I think he could beat Ryan Garcia because I think his toolery is so much deeper than Ryan's.
What about
Tank-
Devin Haney?
Devin is
How does
Hank?
how does
Tank?
Tank get to Devin Haney?
That's
like,
I
how does he
wanna
get
see
to him?
that?
that's such a good fight, man.
Twitter would love that.
Would we
fight.
will
Oh
we
my
ever
God.
actually get that fight, or we can get it when they're both 40 years old someday?
Yeah, I hope that's not the case, man. I hope that's not the case. But Devin has said he wants to move up from 135, but Tank just fought at 135. So I don't know.
Mm,
It's a strange situation, bro. But they gotta fight one day. They're in the same weight classes. They're the best in the weight classes. The world recognizes them as the best boxers at that
That's what
size.
boxing
So
needs, man. Those
Exactly,
type of
man.
fights.
exactly, bro. They gotta be like the ladies, like Kate Taylor and Amanda Serrano.
My fault, ladies.
Like that. Did you guys watch that fight?
No.
Come on. man.
Ah, come on. That broke my heart.
No
man.
disrespect.
That might have been a fight of the
Jay,
Yeah,
year.
Jay,
right.
come on, oh.
I mean, if I didn't watch the Devin Haney fight, guys.
But
Oh man, any boxing fans are
Nah, I
just cackling right now. Like,
I
how
know.
could you
My
guys not watch
apologies.
that fight? It's
My
literally fight of the
apologies.
year. If you have time, go watch it.
I'll
bro. It's
go.
so
I'll
good.
definitely go watch
YouTube.
the highlights again.
yeah,
nothing
now I
against-
have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck with you guys. Yeah, it was a great fight, man. But yeah, so that's kind of how I see the lightweight division kind of unfolding.
Mm.
I need to hear your thoughts. You have not been on since. Speaking of moving up in weight,
Oh, I know.
you know, we gotta talk about your boy.
I think last time I was on, it was just me and Jay, and we talked about it briefly.
Oh, did you? Was
Briefly,
that the
though.
same?
Canelo.
Yeah.
That happened. That did happen around the same
That
time.
was after the Milwaukee,
Yeah, that had to have
Game
been during the
6?
Milwaukee series. Yeah.
I think. Yeah,
Around then. But yeah, I mean, it was,
he went
man.
vegetarian.
Yeah, that vegetarian, man. It's
Oh,
not
that's
a
why he lost.
it's up there. It's up there, man. You don't get the same type of energy when you don't eat the carne asada, bro. If you just eating straight lettuce, just it doesn't help.
Damn.
Yeah,
I just know that that was the most shocked I've been at a boxing result
Yeah.
that
ever.
felt crazy.
Ever.
And I
Actually
didn't even
ever.
know.
Actually ever.
You
Wow.
watched that fight live, right?
Yes.
Jay,
Yes.
did you?
Yeah, I caught the ending live, and I was like, "Oh
Alright,
shit,
sweet.
Canelo's in the 12th round." What's
That was
happening?
actually a great fight.
Oh, I remember you telling me, Jay, like you pulled up to a
Yeah.
bar or something, and
Yeah,
you were just
I'm
happened to
like-
be playing it, right?
And then I saw the result. I was like, "Oh shit, he lost!" Like,
Yeah,
it
my fault,
seems like
Nello.
never happens.
Yeah, literally, bro. Hasn't happened since fucking Floyd did it to him.
And now he's going to fight Triple G for the three-peat.
Yeah, which is crazy because like you were supposed to get that fight if you won against Bivol, and now you lost to Bivol, but you still get that fight.
Wow.
Well, are
Crazy.
they even fighting for any belts?
They are. I think they're fighting for undisputed at 168.
Oh wow! So he kept all of his belts fighting
Yeah.
Bivol because so you can go up and wait and also keep your belts.
Yeah, you don't have to vacate unless
Oh
it's
wow!
like the commission or the
Unless you decide to stay there or something.
yeah, unless
Okay.
the sanction like tells you to fight this guy here and you're like, nah, I'm going to fight that guy there, and they're like, well, you got to get rid of that, but you got to vacate if you're not fighting for it.
Interesting.
But yeah,
that
man,
was
it was
crazy because you to
crazy.
beat a guy like Canelo, you have to definitively beat him. Like if it's a split decision or anything, like I feel like the judges, you just lean in the favorites.
Got to cut the head off.
Right. Well, you have to make it definitive. Like it can't it can't be up in the air. Like Gervonta. Who did he who was the
Isaac Cruz.
Isaac Cruz? That was kind of up in the air, but it's Gervonta, so you're gonna lean in Gervonta's favor. This Bivol guy, he didn't leave it up to interpretation.
Yes.
He did not leave it up into it was pretty impressive.
I love that shit. I love it. And I'm a Canelo fan. I'll say that. I'll be on record saying it. I love Canelo.
It's one of my favorite
Like,
to watch for sure.
yeah, the guy's so fun. His style is crazy. But like to see him get beat was sad. But also at the same time, to see somebody blossom like that, to see somebody have a game plan and stick to it for 12 straight rounds and stay disciplined and not even like go off the road a bit, just stay straight. And it was incredible, man. So when you were watching it live, Gabe, what moment were you like, holy
It's a
shit,
while ago, so
Canelo's
I'm
about
not
to
gonna
fucking
remember
lose.
much, but it's probably like the 8th round.
Yeah, same.
I was like, ooh, we're entering like you need to knock him out territory.
Mm,
He just kept catching him. It wasn't just punches for the sake of points. It was like he was hurting Canelo. And I just had never seen anything like it.
yeah. To a guy
So-
who seemed invincible, right?
Right. He was the most invincible boxer to me.
Mm.
Now the guy I just can't see losing is honestly probably Spence.
Ooh, so you taking Spence over Crawford?
I'd probably lean. I definitely like watching Crawford more. I like watching them both, but I'd side Crawford's more fireworks for me, but
Mm,
like Ugas was no.
no test.
I'm not talking Oogie Boogie 1 2 3 Hocus Pocus.
Jordanis Ugas is who you're
Northwest
talking about.
Oogie. I'm talking I'm talking Ugas, wherever the hell his name is, but that guy's no joke. And
a
Spence
beast.
made quick work out of him.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy's eye looked horrible, man.
Yeah, he shut that dude's eye. It was
Yeah.
nuts.
That was tough.
So-
Spence is the real deal. I know your boy Jamil's hearing this right now. Oh, just smiling.
Yeah, if he made it through all the Celtics talk, he's here.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. He loves that guy out, Earl Spence.
Yeah,
but that's
no,
interesting, man. That
I
you
could
gotta
definitely see him like that. And then Fury's
that's your guy.
if Wilder didn't stop him, who's stopping him? Usyk?
Yeah. Could be,
Can
man.
Usyk's fists even? I guess they can because
Reach?
Joshua's tall too. But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. It's
Usyk,
crazy.
Fury's apparently retired, man.
Is he retired for good?
That seems to be the word on the street. We haven't heard nothing from him. He
That's
seems
disappointing to hear. And me and Jamil talked about this, where it's like, dude, 2 more fights at least. Give me 1 more fight at least, if not 2. You gotta face. You have to face Joshua versus Joshua and Usyk are gonna fight 1 more time, right?
soon,
have to
like next month, I think.
Face the winner of those. Face the winner of that, and then you can walk off into the sunset. After
Yeah,
that, I'm good. But
yeah.
until then, it's like you didn't fight everybody, and I feel like you
Mm.
can't. You should.
Yeah, amen. Especially whenever you're in a division where there's crazy lines out there and people as good as like a Anthony Joshua and a Usyk, and leave with all the belts, man, instead of just 1 or 2, whatever he has.
Right. Yeah. Leave undisputed. I'm not gonna knock you after that. And I'm still not gonna knock him, but it's kind of I don't know. I'm never gonna tell a guy when to walk away or when not to, but would have
You want
liked
a
to
few
see 1
more.
more fight.
Yeah.
He can definitely still go. But yeah, that can probably wrap up the boxing talk this time around. If you want to hear more of that, please tune into the Hurt Business podcast. Do you guys still drop it? Are you dropping once a week now or twice a week? What are we doing right now? Is
We
it
still-
hot
we
fight
s-
season?
Yeah, man, it's been a crazy fight season. We had one slow weekend in June, and then it's like 12 weekends of fire. So we're still dropping 2 episodes a week, Tuesday and Friday, predictions, breakdowns. I do this every time I'm here. I don't gotta bore your listeners even
yeah,
more.
know.
Hey, man.
You
Let
know
them
where
know.
I'm at.
Podcast.
You know where I'm at. The Hurt Business. Come check us out, man. Show some love,
There you
my
go.
brothers. I appreciate y'all for having me. Go Celtics in 6.
Anytime.
Congrats, Devin Haney, and congrats to you guys for building a fucking media company, bro.
Well, we're working on that, but for now,
Yeah.
please.
Congrats, bro. Take it.
Thank you. Yeah,
Appreciate
we're
it.
very bashful. Please subscribe and follow and share with your friends to Connection Media Presents. I think all you have to do is type into Connection Media and it should pop up. We got something for everybody. The wrestling pod, the Double or Nothing pod, recently dropped. Sebastian did a really good job editing that. You can hear Gene, fan favorite Gene on that, me, Seb, and Dave. We talked about Double or Nothing. We talked about a few other things, wrestling related. Wrestling news today, like everybody's getting hurt. Like 5 of the probably top like 7 stars in wrestling are injured right now, and it's fucking crazy. It all happened in the span of like a week. So we'll probably talk about that in the coming week. You can hear Jay and Day talk gambling, talk some NBA Finals bets that are probably still. You could probably still place a few of those or
Had
take advice.
Jalen Brown MVP.
That's looking
plus
good.
1,400.
That's looking pretty good.
The odds are like half now. Yeah.
That's looking pretty good. Yeah, so definitely check that out. It'll benefit your wallets. If you're into anime, Jamil will be dropping his anime podcast in the next few weeks. And then obviously, if you like anime, you probably like One Piece. And we did top 10 One Piece characters of all time. And that was a lot of fun. And we will be recording a One Piece pod in the coming weeks too, because the current arc is finally ending. They've been in this one place in One Piece for the past 4 years. He's been writing it. That's somebody's entire high school career, and they've been in the same arc for that entire time. So while that's winding down, we'll definitely cover that. And please subscribe to it. Please follow the Richie and Mecco Connection on Instagram. Follow all of our respective Twitters. Just type in our names, you'll find us. And yeah, thanks for listening, guys. We really hope next time we come on, we're talking in a much better, happier manner about the Celtics. But until then, thank you.